Hello and welcome to episode 37 of our Timberborn Update 7 Folktails Hard Mode playthrough here in Cycle 48, Day 5. 2 days left until we get a drought, find out how long that will be at that point. And last time, go ahead and put this in triple speed, we put some gravity batteries inside the walls and got a little bit more stuff accomplished. But this was the main thing I really wanted to get done last time was to get this finished. I'm glad we did, because it's going to be very useful during a drought to have so much extra reserve power. But there's still plenty of work that needs to get done with that, and we will chip away at that piece by piece. But I did have a thought based on some of the stuff you guys have suggested. One of the comments that I really liked last video was talking about how instead of putting a dam here to where this can just drain into the discharge channel, that maybe instead we should put an overhang so the water goes into this area here and could be retained. Because we do have these dams here. Now this is already effectively full, and it is going to take more time to construct this than we would have before the drought would start, so there's not really any advantage to doing that at this exact moment. But I do think we're going to go ahead and get that set up today at some point. We'll let that be what it's going to be. And yes, I will admit I was wrong. I was wrong about you guys not giving me a timestamp for the bad water tank that I erroneously deleted. It was right here, but we don't need it. I'm not going to be worried about it. What we do need, however, is some sort of additional supply for paper so we can continue making books, and punch cards for all of our 300-some bots. And, you know, the bots do have to come back from the shortage that we had last episode, because somebody paused all the bot part factories. But regardless, we have an opportunity here to increase the production of a couple other things as well. I don't think planks are, you know, in short supply. We seem to be doing fine on the treated planks. We're not currently using them very much, but don't forget, we haven't built any monuments yet. And the Fountain of Joy requires 100, and the Earthroot Cultivator requires 2,000 of those. So it's going to be, you know, to our benefit at some point, probably sooner rather than later, to go ahead and get that set up. So we're going to have to add some more stuff to our industrial area, and I think probably the easiest way to do that is going to be to just pop it right along the edge here. Take a little bit more of a look at how stuff is organized here, because this honestly isn't a tremendously good way to do it. And you know how it goes. We have 1,000 planks here, we got 1,000 logs here, we have 180 metal blocks here. I'm not really worried about that being a problem. Regular planks, metal blocks here, planks, treated planks, and we probably could stand to have a little bit more storage for those guys long term, because we do have, come on, stay still. We only have storage for 1,000, and we do have to use 2,000 at one time. It doesn't mean we have to have them all at the exact same time, but they are going to go into the same item. So what's probably going to make the most sense is, I don't think we need to double deck this, but it's going to need enough expansion where it's going to start becoming an issue. What we've done here to set things up. So let's just kind of continue what we've been doing here. Bring this in this way, and then I will expand this just because this is how we've done it, so you know we can have stuff that matches. That's always nice. Put in a little bit of terrain here. Get that nice and level, and that's going to give us space. Remember, we're going to have a lot of gears as well for what we're working on. It's going to give us space to put in. I'm imagining 2 additional gear workshops is probably going to be enough, because we're not really going to be going through them any faster. We just need to start building up a larger repository of them. Right now we only have storage for 400, so that would be a very, very easy, quick thing for us to fix. Paper storage here also needs to be converted into a much larger one, because that is basically full. So where do we have the other paper storage? This is going to be my question. Okay, I got little tiny ones here. I got book storage. I got punch card storage. That's not going to be... That's not going to cut the mustard. So, alright, I got to pause the game just to mouse over this so I can see exactly what I've got. 320 storage for paper. Yep, that makes sense because I got 4 little ones right there. Let's just go ahead, rip the band-aid off, get that guy out of there. And large warehouses, we have an opportunity to, depending on how we want to do this, maybe do something little bit differently here. I'm not really going to worry about it too much. We'll just kind of leave this as it is, because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. So we'll go ahead and just pop those in for now, just because those are there. That'll work just fine. That'll give us lots more storage for the gears, lots more storage for the paper. That should help that out substantially. But we're also going to need to probably put in some more printing presses. Okay, that's from goods statistics, the little green circle. I'm not used to seeing that. But that's interesting. I've never actually seen that stat. So it's 0.625% every hour for injury chance, and this is 1%. Now I want to look at all these. That's really fascinating. Okay, yeah, this is definitely red. 1.5%. Really? I thought it would have been higher than that. What's this one? 1.5%. What's the mine? Because I always felt like that was the biggest one. Oh, you're telling me it maxes out at 1.5%? All right, well, it is what it is. Maximum drought, speaking of, 30 full days. Not to worry, we have an enormously full reservoir, and we have plenty of opportunities to utilize all of that water in wonderful and fantastic ways. There's still plenty of stuff to do up here. Don't worry about that. We'll get to that at some point. But I now am very interested to see what else we're going to be able to accomplish here. I think it's going to become an issue probably pretty quickly of just needing to kind of break out of this whole meta that we've created for ourselves here. But for now, I think we're probably fine. I did say 2 more of these gear workshops is probably adequate long term, so long as we can, you know, continue to amass storage for those. But we definitely need to have more printing presses. And I don't know that paper is going to have a whole lot of problems. At one point we did, you know, actually do the math. We have 3 of these. Every 1.6 hours they're getting 2 sheets of paper out, so every 1.6 hours we get 6. And every 1.5 hours, this one is going to consume 4. Every 1.5 hours, this one's going to consume 1. So we are technically producing an excess of paper, but if we build any more of these, that's not going to be the case. So I think, since paper is also used in the construction of windmills, and I honestly can't remember if it is used in the earth recultivator or not. I mean, it would make sense if it does. I honestly should remember, but I don't. The onus would be on us to have additional paper in place. So I think what's going to make the most sense for what we're going to be working on now is to just put in additional paper mills. This is probably the perfect place to do that, right here on top of this. And here is what we're going to do. Pop this in right here, pop this in right here, and then these, of course, can be easily connected. All we have to do, that ladder's already in place, I'm not going to bother moving it. We'll just pop this right there, get those connected, and that will start boosting our paper production. What do you mean that's not connected to power? Hold on. Hold on. Did I play myself? I thought for sure... Okay, no, maybe it's the Iron Teeth one that does that. Alright, well that is, that's disappointing. You know what that means? That means we have to remove that. And instead, now we have the opportunity to just jack it up here. What's stored in here? Pine resin? Okay, I don't think we're going to need that much pine resin ever again. So now I got 1320 storage for paper. Got, wow, 600 storage for punch cards? Really? What about for books? 400. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll just do paper here because it's already super convenient location-wise. But the main thing that we had to do here was we just had to jack that up one more level so I could connect to there and do one of those kind of numbers. So just get that put in place. Come on. There we go. Just like so. And then we put the power shaft there. So that's going to get us... I'm not going to sit here and do that math again, but that's going to get us a lot more paper. I still want to put in an additional one over somewhere else, but that's just going to be, you know, one of the better ways to utilize that space. And if we want to have better space utilization over here, I could technically put in some overhangs on top of this underground pile, but I think I'm probably better off leaving that alone for right now. What I think would make sense, if I can figure out how to do it, would be to fill this space in and then put in some buildings that utilize power over here. But I'd have to, actually transfer the power. Remember, refineries are not powered buildings. They just make stuff. So I don't think that's something we're going to want to be messing with too terribly badly. Where am I going to put more wood workshops? I guess, we're not really producing a tremendously huge surplus of power using these wheels, so I probably could put in some more. But I honestly don't want to mess with it. I don't want to be bothered. So, the gravity batteries hopefully are going to hold out for the rest of this drought. I mean, we're 2 days in, and we're already down almost 1,500 each. That's not looking too great. Not looking too great. But, I mean, we are going to have the large windmills spool up at some point. We'll have that. That'll be good. That'll be helpful. But, for right now, it's looking a little dicey. Oh, well. At any rate, I need to shut up and find space for these printing presses. So if we're not going to be adding any additional wheels, then I can start building over this canal here. Height-wise, I don't think... Yeah, it's not going to let me get the camera any lower, but height-wise, I can't really go back any further unless there are not wheels in place. And there are wheels here, but they do stop at this convenient location here, so that would just kind of stick over that way. But I think that would look a little ugly, so I would like to avoid ugly if at all possible. So instead, what we can do is we can go ahead and relocate some hauling posts. Also, we have a deficit of 67 bot jobs, so if I just get rid of these two, that helps solve that problem real quick. And then I think what's going to happen here is we're going to have to relocate this. I want to... I mean, there's not really any tremendously compelling reason for me wanting to put all of this on like an elevated level here, but sometimes you have these things that you feel like you have to do or everything's going to be terrible. That's one of those things. I can't really explain it. So what's probably going to make sense, taking a look at these things again, I'm going to extend this a little bit more. One more here. And then, actually, before that gets built, why is this so hard? So let's pause that terrain block, which means this one is going to have to be spun around a different level. I'm going to have to put in a, I can't even remember words, a power transfer under here again, like I'd done over in this spot, because all these things are unpowered. What I'm attempting to communicate, and not doing a very good job of, is I'm going to put in some more stuff on this side, and then to transfer power back this way, if that makes sense. I think I can and probably should move this zipline station to be somewhere else. But this is a pretty convenient location here if I would just maybe fiddle with it a tiny bit more. Can I get rid of that? I probably, if I'm going to do this correctly, I probably need to take these two out first, because I want to fill this in and get it just completely filled in. Alright, take that one out there. Do one of those numbers, and then let them do what they've got to do. I probably could rip this out and do some other stuff, but I'm going to try. It may not let me because of the angles, but I'm going to try to just rotate this around here. And then I've got space back here to, make everything look amazingly beautiful and perfect and flawless, and there will be no criticisms whatsoever. I am absolutely certain of that. Massive sarcasm, by the way. But that's all right. So now I get to come over here and relocate the ladder. In fact, I honestly probably could just keep bringing this way if I really felt like it, but I don't think that's going to end up being the case. We got treated planks going in there, regular planks going in there. I probably could relocate these somewhere else. I don't know. I kind of, you know, kind of hemmed myself in here without a whole lot of better options. Such is the life of Timberborn. That's the way it goes. So if I just go ahead and get this whole thing all figured out, just like that, keep on building. Nice and easy. As long as they don't get silly-billied, it would be very annoying if they did. But regardless, I can probably go ahead and get the solid power shaft here. Get that completely removed. Solid power shaft here. And then I just have to remove this ladder. As long as I don't think I'm going to have to get over here, I don't think it's going to be an issue. Or I could just say, you know what? Forget it. Oh, you... Come on. Where'd that guy go? Oh, okay. Well, I guess that is still technically connected. Right. That's gone. That's gone. Obligatory thank you email client. I keep forgetting to just turn that off. But it's fine. Let's put this in here and here and here. Get this all disconnected. We are going to put in regular power shaft. Nice and simple. I really hope this will actually connect. Okay, it does. I just... There's a certain amount of trust that I probably will never have for the infinitely configurable things in this game. So, sorry. But I've been around long enough to just have bitter memories of stuff betraying me when it comes to things like that. Alright. So this is just about ready to go. Oh, do I want to relocate the refinery? Oh, here's an idea. I could put the refinery back here, relocate this, and then that would actually be a much better setup. Yeah, they got to put this ground in first. We'll take care of that. Let them do what they got to do. And I think we're going to be in okay shape. Remember, my main goal here is to try and get power to come across here and put in at least 2 more printing presses. And then that probably is going to solve most of our problems. Obviously, I'm going to have to put in a 6th paper mill. But we will, we'll get to that when we get to that. I'm going to go ahead and just, you know, I'm just going to do this. Just pop that right there. That's supposed to be making catalyst, and then that will massively streamline things. I think that's going to be good. So they just have a little bit of dirt left to put in there. We do have 1,200 dirt remaining. I did pause these to conserve power, so that's a thing. Can't forget about that. How are we looking here? Oh, good. They're recharging the gravity batteries. See, I knew this was going to work out just fine. It's perfect. Flawless. Absolutely no notes. How much? Oh, I got completely fallen catalyst. Goodbye. That refinery can go away, and we can just run that way. Oh, that's so much better. So much better. So, now if I take the zipline station, and I have not checked about clearances. If I put this here, that is actually going to be a very, very handy thing for us right here. Actually, hold on. Hold on. The zipline station could go here, or because of the configuration of the doorway, I could put a paper mill. As long as I have something that is going to be connected to it that will generate or transfer power. So if we just humor me here for a second. Got a paper mill there. If I'm going to put printing presses in, I can put one here. And then I've got room here to put one more 2x3 building that consumes power if I so choose. But then I have to have some way to transfer stuff there. I don't think that's going to work tremendously well unless for this guy I do kind of the same thing I did on the other spot, and I put the doorway there. I flip that, then I put that there. Now I'm not going to worry about it. I put that there. I bring this up this way. Then I could flip the zipline station and put it there. These would all be connected, and then I have space to put a couple more of these 2x4 buildings or anything. You know what? Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to do that. And that should be, hopefully, you know, still allowable. We're going to try it. We're going to see what happens. I think it can be done. It's essentially the same spot. Shouldn't be many issues with it. That is going to have to be set for bots, although technically I probably could use the regular beavers, but I don't want to do that. Alright. Now, nobody is on this zipline station, so undo that. Oh, yeah, look at that. Look at that. Okay. Alright, now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. Get this connected here. And that needs to be set to, I'm just going to do books. This one can be punch cards. The storage for both of those is, you know, not technically very close, but yeah, we'll get over it. It's fine. So that's going to be put there. And this gives us a very good opportunity to put in additional wood workshops. I know we talked about that stuff a little bit. It's 2,000. Currently, to fill up our existing, fill up our existing storage of 1,000, it says it's going to take 23 more days. We don't want that. We want faster. So the wood workshop, obviously, a very good thing to put there. And that leaves us another opportunity to pop something in here if we really, really need it. I'm going to have to check on our plank consumption if we put in additional wood workshops. Because right now it says planks are being drawn down at a very dangerous rate. 9 days. So just to keep the peace, I'm going to put in one more lumber mill there. And guess what? We've got a 2x5 space here that technically doesn't have to be filled with a 2x5 item. Well, one, because that doesn't exist. But we could put another printing press here. I don't think we're going to have the extra paper to make that work unless it was only producing books. Which, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and say, let's do it. See what happens. Should be, hopefully, a viable thing. But we have this little bitty space here that isn't technically being utilized. Yeah, we'll just have to get over it. But now we have massively improved the throughput of our industrial area. And that is something to be happy about. Well, once everything is fully operating and we get all of our different bots back up and running. So, well, that took 20 minutes. Yikes. Well, anyway, this is now in a much, much better place than it was, and I think we can be pretty happy with that. See, food is still looking good. I don't think that's ever going to have to be messed with. But I'm more interested in monitoring what's going on here. Like it says, 5 days to depletion of planks now. So, this being put in... don't forget, we're also making a bunch of extra gears. At some point, this will fill up, and then that won't be an issue anymore. Yeah, it still says time to depletion 5 days. Although paper has gone massively up, and that's good. That's what we wanted. The paper mills just consume raw logs. Gear Workshop consumes planks. The only other building that actually consumes planks is the Wood Workshop, and it's 1 every 3 hours. Per Wood Workshop, we have 4, so every 3 hours we consume 4 planks that way. And then every 3 hours we consume 1 plank per Gear Workshop, and now we have 12 of them. So every 3 hours we now consume 16 planks just to make these things. And every I'm sure I got that math wrong, but every 3 hours we're making, because we have, well, technically we have 9 plank things. Every 3 hours we're making... No, the number should be about the same. Because 1.3 hours we make 1 plank. We have 9 of those, so... You multiply that by like 2 1/3. I think it'll even out eventually. The time to depletion has increased to 7 days. 19 days to fill the 1,000 plank. I mean, that still is going to be way too slow. I think the books just get consumed. Literally, I'm pretty sure the beavers eat them. Okay, no, I clicked on the wrong one. Beavers consume each page right after. Yep, Yep, there you go. It's official. It's in the lore. They eat the books. So I guess them in elementary schools have something in common there. But I don't think they should be consuming planks this fast unless I am just wildly wrong about my math calculations. I'm pretty sure this doesn't use the... Ah, there it is. There it is. I forgot they put the recipe back in that consumes treated planks. So, let's see. Scrap metal-wise, I got 1,400. I don't think we need to be consuming one treated plank every 1.8 hours at the mine because, one, we're full up on metal, and we're probably not going to, use that much. I'm going to take this down to, let's say, 4 workers. All right, so that's every 4.5 hours we're consuming a treated plank. Okay, that should stem the bleeding just a touch. Not immediately, and it's not going to be represented in these numbers, but this will fill up faster as a result of being depleted slower. It's funny how that works. Something, accrual-based accounting, or whatever. I don't know. I didn't get a great grade in that class. But imagine that. So it involves math. I'm going to consider this for right now more or less complete, but I do, before we leave this area for the rest of the day, I do want to make sure those are all prioritized. And for some reason, I can never remember what they're called. Lumber mills. There we go. Get those prioritized by haulers. Give them a fighting chance. And then paper mills, I don't think I need to worry about there. I don't think I need to worry about these. I want to make sure that they, maximize the output of these things. And that hopefully will help. Yeah, it still says time to depletion 6 days. Time to fill is now 18 days for the... It's always... It runs out of these very, very low stock items and keeps moving this around just as soon as I mouse over it. Yeah, now we're half full in the treated planks. That's fine. If we continue, and this is a persistent issue with the planks, we'll have to build some more, but I think it's probably fine. Remember that the gear storage will also eventually fill up, but I probably could get away with pausing a couple of these. I don't know. The reason I'm reluctant to pause those is because I know I'm going to need the gears eventually, and I know I'm going to forget that I've paused them. So, I think what's going to have to happen, I know I've been waffling about it for a while, but I think I'm going to have to just build a couple more of these lumber mills. Like I said, we have 9 total. That's clearly not going to be enough. I just don't know exactly where I'm going to have a good place to put those. Man, see. I guess the easiest thing to do is going to be to take those 2 storages away and just pop these in here. Probably the only real way to do it. Just get that done, and then we can build a much larger or much better located storage for those things somewhere else. See, if I put this here, that's not really going to play nice. See, I did not do a good job of laying this out, and now I have regrets. So that's it is what it is. Where in the world am I going to be able to put storage for this stuff? See, I don't have options here. Do not have options. What's in this? Spatter dock. Okay, well that needs to be there. That's for this. That's fine. Bot limbs, bot heads. Like, how have I allocated all of this different storage here? Okay, the paper storage doesn't need to be right here. That just is stupid. So what did I remove that was here? Storage for the books and the punch cards. But I already have storage for punch cards. I have 400 of them somewhere. Book storage, I got 200, so I really... You know what? I'm not going to replace the storage, because they already have storage somewhere. It's going to be fine. That's just going to be how it is. Make sure we prioritize those 2. And now this should... Okay, now it says time to depletion 16 days. Well, we're helping. We're trying. We're doing our best. We got to leave this alone and go do something else. Let's go ahead and take a look at getting this into a proper overflow state. I think what's going to make the most sense is for us to come over here and make this look a little bit nicer. I'm going to say, based on height, that should be okay. if I put a 2 by there, then I'm going to have this come out this way. How long does it have to be? The 5? 5 would actually be perfectly adequate, but I will do 6. That'll look a little bit nicer. That would get us... Okay, that's actually that's too high. So that's got to come down, which means that's got to come down, which means that goes there. Then I do have to have that come that way, but I can do that from inside the doohickey. That'll go there. That will go there. And I think... Yeah, that's going to end up being fine. Alright, so to get that from here, this is already down low enough where this is going to be accessible. And probably soon-ish this will be low enough for me to blast this out, but we are going to have to connect straight through to here, which is going to require that this block is gone. I'm not going to, get rid of that prematurely. I don't think that would be a smart choice. So instead, to aid in the construction of this, I think I can put in, not that one, there we go. I can put a little suspension bridge in there, and that should be connected very simply. That way they should, be able to construct this without too much weeping or gnashing of teeth. And that is going to be what it's going to be. I think that should be fine. This central piece here has to have the impermeable floors on it. This is going to have dirt. I think I'm pretty sure of that. And then this will just spill out the center. That'll be totally fine. And we won't waste it going out the trash chute. It'll go to, well, it won't fill this up very much at all because that exit's there. It'll be better. It'll be an improvement. Everything should be A-okay. No, I'm so curious about... Oh, the planks are going up. Good. So that solved its problem all by itself. How are we looking here? Okay, down to about 2/3 capacity, a little bit less. We have 19 days left. Again, I think this is an issue of the windmills just not being on all the time. Should be okay. So let's briefly talk about this mess here that we did last episode. And because this came up, I do want to address it. The reason why I did what I did with the construction of the blasting the holes and not building scaffolding is because when I do time lapses, people really do not want to see, and they've said as much, they don't want to see the camera going all over the place because it gives them motion sickness or it just looks like garbage or whatever. So for me to keep the camera in the same spot and do it the way that I did, that's the easiest, simplest way from a quality of video standpoint. And that's not normally something I'm incredibly concerned with in terms of production value because I'm just having fun playing the game. But that was the easiest way for me to get to that goal. That it's not specifically to, enrage people or whatever. Like, look, it's not always complicated, right? So sometimes, what's the, is that Occam's razor or something? Like the most simple solution's usually the correct one. Look, I'm not scheming with this. I'm playing the game. I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude who plays games, man. But all that being said, when we continue doing this, I'm not going to be doing it that same way because that was very annoying to do. But we do need to get this whole area here kind of connected into the whole perimeter wall thing. Because I actually really like what we did over here with putting this this aqueduct in. I thought that was pretty cool. Obviously, we don't need to do aqueducts over here. We could, if we really wanted to, we could just expand the capacity of the reservoir doing this that way. But I think it would be a much better use of our interior space to put in gravity batteries. So we have plenty of capacity here. If we want to expand capacity, we also have all of this space. We have underneath here. We talked about that a couple times. We have a lot of ways to make this better without having to resort to, fill up the whole wall with everything, because we don't really have the resources for that. So, recognizing that this is currently working just fine. We're 18 days into a drought and we've only used 1 block worth of height in the reservoir. I think it's probably going to be a better use of our time for the next portion of this episode here to, put some effort into expanding the reservoir out this way. So, we absolutely cannot tunnel underneath this in a way that's going to cause the reservoir to flood with bad water. So the height of this piece of land right here is 6. We're on height 6. If we go down to 5, we cannot remove this layer because this layer is the floor to layer 6. So if we're going to be drawing out tunnels, we have to go down to layer 4, which is where the water currently is. So tunnels require 1 dynamite, 1 extract, and 6 planks apiece. We have south of 1,000 planks, and I don't want to use too many of them at one point in time. We cannot build underneath the water sources. They did fix that. But I think what is going to make the most sense for what we're trying to do is just go ahead and make this area into a giant accessory to the reservoir. We will go all the way out to the very edge of the map, because I don't think that's going to be an issue. And then we will just have to make double sure that this can in no way affect what we have going on here. Remember, this is the bottom of this thing here. This is 6. This is going to say 5, but I can't go any higher than this. So even though we have a block here and a block here, and you see the top of the wheels, remember, we only really have 1 block of height as a buffer here. So that is why that is the way it is. I'm going to go top down here. So we'll start here. We will have to, yes, friends, we will have to put in scaffolding. I will grant you this mercy. I will put in scaffolding here so they can get access to this, but we're really only going to need just a little bit to get in here. Just make this a little bit faster at the start. I will put that overhang there. And then we just have to give ourselves a way to get over to the rest of this. And I think, based on how this is set up, it's going to be in our best interest to go ahead and just blast this bit down. We'll go 3 tiles. Oh, you know what? I can't, because this is actually a platform and not an overhang. Well, 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 how the turntables. I'm going to have to disconnect this. I don't know why I paused the game to do that. But we're gonna disconnect that. That'll go down 3. I guess it's just going to have to stay the way that it is. And we'll just leave that alone. But I do want them to be able to get into this. But that's going to be a very, very long process. That might get a little, or a lot of bit frustrating. Thank you, email client. This only happens when I'm recording videos. I can sit there for hours and not get anything else, but that will allow us to get down here. I'm going to use a ladder for the sake of expedience. Get that in there. And because I'm not completely insane in ways that matter, I'm going to go ahead and put in a warehouse here for some dynamite. I'm going to put in a little pile for the planks. Not that it's really going to matter that much, but that's what I can fit. And then a small tank for the extract, so that can hopefully be something that will help these builders do their thing a little bit faster. Go ahead and get this. Oh, that hasn't been finished building yet, so that can't. There we go. That's connected there, so let's go back down to our layer control on level 4. So we do need to continue to be mindful about how this connects to what is above it, but for right now, this little, what was this, 10 by 10? This is how we decided that was working. That's probably going to end up being fine. Just let them do what they got to do. We can, come on, autosave. Expand this all the way around the outside. We can continue doing whatever. But once they finish this layer, we'll come back and we'll do the one below it. So on and so forth, etc. I cannot remove the platforms here because there's a bunch of land above it. And the platforms don't take up any volume for water storage. It's just going to look really weird, but we're not going to see it anyway. So it doesn't matter. We can just say, you know what, we have to have the platforms here because there's a tremendous amount of weight on top of it, and that would be bad to have that, you know, not supported by anything. So I will go ahead and just kind of do my best to make sure this is accessible, as one does, and I think we can kind of leave this alone for a little bit of time. They should be able to reach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Barely. Barely. I'll put one more piece here, and that should allow them to get to everything. Just as soon as the one that I'm specifically hovering over actually gets detonated, which it doesn't seem like they feel like doing right now. There we go. Alright, let's leave that alone. Just go do something else. How are we looking over here? Good, 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 good. Making nice progress. Get that done. Put in a 6x1 here. And it looks like I can go ahead and just pop that in there. That is, you know, not perfect, but a better solution than just dumping it off the side of the map immediately. We can just dump it in here, and then later it'll be dumped off the side of the map. But with extra steps. So that's going to be fine there. I am going to continue to just, you know, have a regular dam there. I think that is fine. I don't think I need to worry about making this any wider. But if I do, we can always expand it. Not a big deal. Just want to make sure that this is in a good spot before we really worry about it. Don't forget that we have to have the water low enough to be able to demolish one more piece of land here so that we can have our little bridge piece. Actually, you know what? No. I don't think we're going to have to do it that way. Let me think here for a second. Yeah, see, that's open, but I'm... yeah, okay, we don't need to make it complicated. I'm very bad about overcomplicating things for no reason, so I'm going to try to be a little bit better about that. All I had to do was just pop that in there. That's a much easier solution than waiting and then blasting and then they didn't know. Actually, thinking about the geography of this, it probably wasn't going to make any sense anyway. So, we'll put those 3 impermeable floors in place after they, you know, actually build the thing, and then I can put the dam back in, and that will be taken care of. So, since we have, you know, kind of solved this problem, let's solve the problem next of where's the rest of the water? Well, it's not all running out the side of the map because we do have these dams here, but we don't have a really good way to continually supply water into this area, which is part of what I wanted to do over here. Remember, we talked a couple episodes back about increasing the height here so that this could be used. Some people thought this would be a really fun way to integrate the natural part of the map. These used to be natural overhangs, but since they made that modification during the playthrough and they changed it back, it's not going to change this back unless we restarted the map, and there's obviously we're not doing that. So these are, unfortunately, still the natural terrain bits, but that does have a couple of distinct advantages versus the regular natural overhang. One, it's a more cohesive visual look. 2, because of the way this is structured, we can actually fill this in now with, obviously we can't reach this yet, but we can put actual terrain blocks here instead of with the natural overhangs. You can't hang terrain off of those. So that is a tremendous advantage we have here. I cannot place blockages outside of dev mode. We're not going to be doing that. So we can either delete all of these and replace them with regular dirt, or we can just fill in the gaps with terrain blocks. I think that would look a little bit better than just, or a little bit more interesting. I shouldn't say better, but it'll, oh, okay, got to get rid of this thing here. Than just, you know, getting rid of all the blockages, barriers, whatever these things are called now, who knows, and replacing it with just regular dirt. These are already in place, and we are kind of, you know, reclaiming the whole thing here. So I figured it would be a fun way to kind of integrate that. Now, in terms of the terrain blocks actually, you know, being suspended in midair, remember that we have a limit of 3 overhangs before it has to be supported. That's not going to reach all the way across here unless we put another pillar in. I don't think we want to do that. So what I will do is I do think I will extend this naturally as far as I can, and then maybe do a little bit of something here to get across, and then we'll have to put in actual, like the 6x1 overhangs or whatever. But before we get to that point, we have to be able to elevate the water level to height 10, which currently it will not do because we have this right here at level 7. This here is level 10, so we need to come over here and just completely block this off. Because we have blockages in place, that is not going to be possible. unless we removed all of them. So, this is going to be probably a little bit annoying to do, but I think, at least for this one bit right here, we're going to have to remove all of these. Gonna have to get the beavers a way to get up here, which probably the easiest way is just to come in from this way, where we have the all these zipline things coming in. We're going to build more of this. Don't worry, don't worry. We have I have such a love-hate relationship with math on these castle wall things. I'm like 99.9% sure this is now the correct position. It's just this wasn't completely centered. It was never going to be because this is an even number of blocks on this one side. But so one of these distances is 29 blocks and the rest are 30. That's just the way it goes. That's the way that had to go. But closest station, they're both about the same. But what we can do, and we also have to, you know, take care of this for the future anyway. Okay, no, I need to find a place I can actually... Oh, I can't go underneath these. I forgot. We're going to have to... Okay. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Yeah, just bring this over here. We're going to have to get rid of these trees eventually for when we do our inner keep thing. I'm not going to save the wood. Oh, we don't need it. We have enormous tree farms that... Okay, well, this one's actually kind of fully utilized at the moment. Maybe we need to have some more wood storage before I get too quick about just deleting trees. Alright, how am I doing on... Sheesh, this is a mess. And I said I wasn't going to come back over here. I need... Oh, we're running out of planks, too. What a mess! What a mess. One day till depletion. What happened? What happened to all of our planks? Like, I know this is basically full. The gears are going to be full. Maybe it's fine. Well, we have books. Punch cards are, you know, taking a little bit long. Anyway, I was going to build more wood storage, more log storage, and then I completely forgot what I was doing. That's never happened before. Where am I going to put this, though? Where am I going to put this? I don't really have a lot of great spots. What's in here? Metal blocks. That's also metal blocks. Do I even have... Oh, this is really not the best way to do this, but I'm just going to put this here because it is a space that exists. And we can just, you know, do that. So that'll give us another 1,000 storage. Honestly, 2,400 storage really is not enough. So, all of that being said, remember how I said I was just going to delete these trees? Well, no. I'll be smart-ish and actually recover all the wood. Because we'll probably need it, at least in this main area here. Get a couple of these lumberjack flags. Our bot numbers are still very slowly recovering. But that should be, hopefully, not too big of a deal. Put a staircase there. This will get connected as it has the ability to be. You know, it's just takes time. Just takes time. I think... do I want to have biobeavers? No. No, I don't. I really don't want to mess with that. Alright. Now, finally, I can figure out where I'm going to have these guys come out. It's going to make the most sense to just come out this way. Yeah, because there's so many different heights on this. This is going to be an absolute mess. To actually build this, going to have heights here, and then I'm going to have, I guess I'm going to have a ladder there. Just bring that way, because remember we have to build land up here too, so that's going to be a whole thing. I'll just do this. It really doesn't need to be complicated. Cheaper plank-wise to just go ladder down, ladder back up, so we will not spend any more time thinking about it. Just pop that there, pop that there. This, of course, is going to have a ladder as well. There we go. And then this here will easily-ish be connected there. Super simple. These are all marked for cutting. good. These are all marked for removal. We have 11 days, 11 and a half days, so that should be hopefully a viable thing. All right, let's leave that alone. Come back over here. Go back down to layer 4. Come on. There we go. So that has worked out splendidly. So we can either choose to expand around the corner here before we go down more, or we can just keep going down. Remember, we cannot go underneath here. I think... Oh, that's what happened to all our planks. I forgot. I forgot. What do you mean you can't? No, it's fine. I guess. Oh, that's dangerous letting me do that. We'll just leave that conspicuously unaffected. Just let it be what it's going to be, and have these guys come in and do what they got to do. So that'll go this way through here. A whole lot of planks will be exploded. I will not recover them. Don't worry, it's going to be okay. I just want to make sure we have enough extra capacity. And keep in mind, increasing the capacity over here is going to lower the overall level of the reservoir. Not that we need to do that over here anymore. Alright, so now that this is fully complete, we can go ahead and put the, not the levee, the dam back in, right there. We now have a lovely new spillway for, you know, spillway activities. How are we doing over here? Okay, we haven't really, oh, because they haven't got rid of these trees yet. I did mark those, right? Yes, good. These are probably... No, not quite. Let's prioritize those by haulers, help them out a little bit. Because I imagine these bots are probably, you know, hauling logs on zip lines. Yeah, imagine that. All the way around. It is pretty cool having the zip lines go all the way around the map. And I know there's still more to do. And we're going to complete it before we're finished with the playthrough. Don't worry. But now they can actually just focus on getting rid of all the trees. So we can leave those alone. Take a look back over here. Not that I need to take a look at the rest of this. Yeah, they're using all the planks to build all of our stuff. That's fine. We know that's why that's happening. Question is, can they actually keep up with this? It's looking like they can. And I think, math-wise, our paper might still be in surplus, even though I have 5 of these. We got a bunch of them making books, and they're not losing the books. So I'll tell you what we'll do is... Oh, you know what? The food's going to be suffering in a little bit because these are still disconnected. I needed to fix that. Okay. How am I going to... I need to do this right quick or else I'm going to forget and it's going to be bad. I think they should still be able to build that, hopefully. We'll see. If not, then that's going to cause interesting problems, but... How are we, still doing well here? Let's keep that train moving. Extend that. I'm need... Wow, great job. I'm going to need to put in some book storage over here. I do not remember. I don't think I have any. But let's go ahead. We have this space right here. Okay, what is underneath this double platform? I say as I blindly reach for shift escape behind... Ah! The scarecrow. Okay. There is a reason that was there. I'm going to just... medium warehouse for the books. And in fact, I will put another one right here because why not? These used to be housing, and we didn't really do too much else with the housing like I said I was going to do, because then we had the idea that maybe we should put some over here. But we hadn't done that yet. So, they're still working on this, but now we can actually connect this so the builders can come in and do that. How are we looking? How are we looking over here? Gravity batteries discharging. We have 9.4 days. Very good progress being made here. Again, the amount of planks is kind of limiting that. But we have a completely full storage of the treated planks. We have a completely full storage of the gears. And that's huge because that's going to clog up those factories and mean that all the planks we're making can be used to either explode stuff or just go into storage. And that's good. That's what we want to see. So that's looking fine. What else? What else? I did say I was going to continue doing more stuff over here. We do have to continue putting this wall in place. And I've got another bank of gravity batteries that I want to put in. So what I'm going to need to do... I'm going to need to bring this out this way. So we can continue doing all this mess. I'm going to remove... Oh, come on. I'm going to remove this piece here just because I really like it when stuff matches. Probably some sort of thing that should be looked at, but regardless, I'm going to replace this and then the rest of this ladder stack with more of these overhangs. And then we will put all of the dirt in on top of here to enclose the wall, but leave it open below for reservoir purposes. And then before I put dirt on top of here, we'll build all of these gravity batteries, assuming we have enough planks by that point. And then we can cover it up, instead of, you know, continuing to put giant holes in everything. Because yes, I am aware that is a suboptimal way to do things, but necessity is the mother of invention, or whatever that phrase is. Alright, let's go ahead and get that out. Now I have to come in with my platforms, and I think that was going to be 2 triples below. That should be fine. Nice and simple. Very easy. And then we can't forget we have to put power shafts through this bit here. And what height is that on? Okay, for right now this is a very useful cut through to have, so I'm not going to mess with it. But this ladder here needs to be removed down to... I'll just remove all of it. It's not like it really matters. So that can be double blasted. I don't know why I just conjured up the image of the flavor blasted goldfish in my head, but enjoy that. Let's get the rest of this mess popped in here, and then we can actually, as we continue putting the rest of this in, we can actually start putting dirt on top from probably this side would make sense, and then eventually everything will meet up. But for right now, I'll put this path going further this way. This is ready to go. I clicked the wrong thing again. Good job. That's going to go there. And there we go. That can get built. And then I know it's going to be a slow process to put this in this way. It's just going to be the easiest way to do it without coming back to, you know, bring all the rest of that garbage out of there. But I guess I will just go ahead and do that. Then we do have to have stuff come in from the top. I know. The bridge strategy where you just go straight the way across here is technically faster, but then that involves... I mean, this is such a small amount of dirt, it's not really that big of a deal. That involves having to come back and constantly monitor stuff, and the biggest and most severe problems that become just like heinous derailers of progress in my playthroughs are when I try to do the quote-unquote smart correct way of something that requires a little bit more monitoring than I have the mental brain power, as opposed to what other kind of brain power. I have the... now I don't even know, because I've tried to explain something I don't fully understand. Anyway, it requires monitoring. It requires more simultaneous demand than I am capable of doing, while also trying to record and narrate what's going on. So I'm just not going to do it, because I don't want it to create problems. The suboptimal solutions are the simpler ones that make it more possible for me to actually continue making videos about stuff. Instead of just, okay, well, I'm going to play this perfectly. If I was going to play it perfectly, then I wouldn't be making videos about it. Besides, there are definitely a whole lot of people that are better at this game than I am. If that's the kind of stuff you want to watch, then definitely go check those people out. I am not one of them. I just like to have fun playing games, and I like having a good time with you guys. That's what my videos are always going to be about. If that means that it's, you know, a little suboptimal or whatever, then that's fine. As far as I know, there is no competitive ranked Timberborn esports category, nor would I necessarily want to be a participant in that anyway. So, just going to focus on having a good time. I'm going to put in a tank here. I know we're going to have to, you know, replace this with something else at some point, but these bots have to have access to fuel. It's massively slowing everything down. So, just putting this in here should, even if it's just temporary, should make things a little bit faster. And putting the rest of this in, we can leave that alone. Come back on over here. How are we looking? They still haven't built the rest of these ladders, but that's fine. That's going to get faster every single time. And that comes in here. They should be able to delete all of this without too much more annoyance. And that's good. Judging by the amount of planks that we don't have, I'm assuming they're still exploding things over there. Plus, you know, this is also using planks. But let's go take a look. See what's up. Oh, good. They've actually made some substantial progress. So that will be... I mean, I know there's still other stuff that could be exploded, but I'm going to consider that, once that's fully complete, to be the furthest extent of the explosions that I'm willing to do at this point in terms of width. But height, obviously, we can go down a little bit more. I am growing a little concerned about the gravity battery capacity. I know this previously was disconnected, now it's reconnected, and that's going to be expending a little bit more, to the tune of 800 for the 2 carousels, but we also have these windmills here that are actually producing more than that, plus we have all this mess, but that's fine there. How are we looking here? Making some okay progress. Alright. But the important thing is that this is fully complete, which means, not that I have the, you know, planks to do this anyway, we will soon. But we can go ahead and start putting gravity batteries in. In fact, because this isn't actually blocked off yet, I can just go ahead and put pretty much all of them in. Okay, this here can be removed. That'll get us a little bit more in the way of planks. Come on. Get that out of the way. And I'm just alternating these because that's what's going to be easier. Building order-wise, just get all of this in here as much as I can. And then when the time comes for us to have to do other stuff another way, then that's going to be what it is. All right, now let's peel this back a little bit more because I kind of forgot how I did this. Okay, I may have created a monster here. But I'll tell you what we're gonna do. Let's disconnect this. Oh, I didn't actually need to disconnect that. Oh, another thing that I completely failed to mention is there was a small patch that supposedly has fixed this from happening in stupid ways, like what we'd seen in the previous episode with this. So I kind of have to wonder if someone at Mechanics watched that video is like, wait, that shouldn't be happening. I don't know. The likelihood of that's probably very, very low, but it's still kind of fun to think about. Anyway, point being, I didn't need to delete this because they're adaptive now. I just have, again, 3.5 years of muscle memory. Does not go away overnight. I was going to, I'll delete that and I'll put a T section in. Like, well, the game does that for you now, and now it's not going to be a super easy process for that. But I believe there's just there's a few more explosions left to go here. And then, yeah, that'll work. And then our amount of planks will continue to go up relative to production. But, of course, they're all going to get used for this. All right, so we can leave that alone. Hopefully none of these trees die. Okay, they're definitely dead. Okay, so these trees are going to be gone, but, you know, that's the way it goes sometimes. How are we looking here? We still haven't finished this? Well, I guess technically the planks are in short supply, so that's going to be a thing that's, I guess, going to have to take us... How are we already over an hour? Man, all right, well... Oh, man. If you're watching episode 37 of a series, I can only assume that you're actually enjoying it. I don't know, maybe there's someone out there who just watches my videos as I hate watch, in which case, I'm glad you're here. I care about you anyway. It's all right. But I wanted to get through the entire drought things here so we could see how this is going to work. How are we out of fuel? Is that just because... Okay, yeah, see, this is exactly why we needed to have this biofuel here. That's exactly why. And hopefully they can take care of that. Did they finish those? They did. I'm 90% sure. Okay, no, there's 2 more. There's 2 more, and they're waiting on, surprise, surprise, planks. Okay. Well, we'll be able to leave that alone for probably the rest of the episode at this point. Oh, you know what? You know what? We can get a bunch of planks real quickly by just deleting those that we don't need anymore. By a bunch of planks, I mean objectively not that many, but still enough to help. Cool. Now they can get down here. They can put that ladder in, and that ladder in, and all that mess in. And I really wanted this to be done before we had the end of the drought. So maybe, you know, maybe that's not meant to be. That's fine. We do still have to come over here and take care of this too. Remember, this is at height 10, which is the height that we want the water to be higher than, so it can go off of this thing and then spill into here. This is now turning into a next episode project, which is not my original intent. But, you know, it is what it is. I don't have a staff of planners or anything. I barely even have a me of planners. But regardless, we just kind of, you know, keep on keeping on. I do want to fix this, because I know I'm going to forget, and that's going to be irritating. So we'll put in, come on, put in the wood fence there. That'll look a little bit better. See, all my builders, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I still have about half of them. The bot population hasn't really caught up, which is a little concerning. I think it might be an issue with the bot limbs. We got a lot of chassis. We have 111 of them. Sheesh. So what are those? What are the chassis using? Okay, they don't have any planks. I'm possibly against my better judgment going to pause one of the factories that's making chassis. We have 112 of them. Yeah, the limbs are lagging because of the planks. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. So that was a problem of my own creation. But at least we made some extra stuff. We're not making any more treated planks right now. We're not making... Well, we weren't making any more gears. Now we're making a lot of gears because I decided I had to put in the rest of these. But hey, those are actually almost all in. They're doing pretty well. Just waiting on, surprise, surprise, planks. And I guess I could just go ahead and start doing this mess. They have these last two gravity batteries here. That one's almost done. Surprise, surprise, this one's waiting on planks. But we're gonna we're gonna have to build all these one by one. We're gonna have to do them one by one. The slow way. The slow way. Wait, actually, no. No, we don't. We just have to connect these. We actually don't even have to connect them here because they're connected there. So why did I think I was going to have a power shaft going through here? Because I really don't have to have one. All right, well. This one only needs 10 more planks, 9 more planks. These are getting close. Once this is connected, that'll help too. These are basically empty. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this so quickly. Is because they're going to run out of power and we're going to have a couple really unproductive days. Okay, someone just needs to come finish this and we'll be in good shape. We are going to start wrapping this up here in a minute. But I just want to make sure I get a couple more things accomplished. I didn't get everything on my list done today, which is always frustrating. Because I really try. I really do. But until this becomes... I kind of don't want it to be, honestly, but until it becomes something where I could just record like 4 hours and then cherry pick stuff. If that's something people want to see, I don't think that the core audience of people that regularly watch the videos, I'm pretty sure don't want to see that. Lots of new people come in every time I start a new series and complain that the videos are too slow, but sorry. I do them the way I do them because that's how I can do them, and that's what the people who mostly watch the videos seem to like. So, you know, not everything's going to be to everybody's liking all the time, and that is okay. Be your own person, not someone else's person. Usually pretty good life advice, depending on what the subject is. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just say we're going to have to end here. I'm sorry, I really wanted to get some more stuff done. But, you know, I don't feel bad about what we accomplished. I wish it was a little bit more. Might have tried to, you know, bite off a little bit more than we could chew. But these gravity batteries are connected, so these can recharge. And we do have that extra capacity as a result of that, so that's great to see. I'm just going to put in a little bit more here so these bots can continue working while we are doing the rest of our fun stuff here. I am so thankful that you choose to watch these videos. I'll give you a little bit of a better view here. I really enjoy playing this game, the way that we do it, and I really, really like the fact that we have a nice, positive community, and people just enjoy hanging out, some nice, positive gameplay, and sometimes I make mistakes that are unintentional but still funny. And I'm glad I get to do this with you guys. I really appreciate you and all the support, Beard Boosters especially, directly subsidizing the madness, making it possible to continue making videos, and put a little bit of a hold on some other stuff in real life in order to have fun on YouTube, which is, I have to always remember that, most people don't get to do this. I get to have fun playing a game and also provide for myself while doing so, and thanks to the generosity of you folks as well. But all that being said, it is absolutely time to end this video. It's already too long. Apologies for that, but we're going to be back in this series on Saturday with some more fun stuff, getting the rest of these things all hooked up. Hopefully fixing that other upper reservoir, putting in additional castle wall bits, and expanding this as well. We're going to have to see. We're going to have to make some tough choices about what we actually want to prioritize. Because I think realistically, without dragging this out too much, I probably can get like another 4 or 5 episodes out of this, which conveniently would get us right about to the release of Update 7 on the main branch on the 8th. A little bit of overlap there. But we'll see what happens. I'm definitely not going to cut this short if it's not ready to end. But I want to make sure we have time to get to the cool stuff we're going to do in the Update 7 main release. I've got some cool ideas, and I know you guys are excited to see that, and I'm excited to see it too. All that being said, that's all the time we have for this one. I appreciate you. I always will. Very thankful we get to share this time with each other. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you later. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.